What if I told you that the reality you're watching this video might be a hallucination your brain constructed a fraction of a second ago? That your brain is secretly rewriting your memories every single time you access them? And that the moment someone leaves you on red, your brain responds exactly like you just got physically hurt? These aren't theories. These aren't some scientists think maybe. These are facts about the organs sitting inside your skull right now. And most people will go their entire lives without knowing any of them. Here are 15 brain facts that sound completely made up, but aren't. Your brain can't feel pain, which is kind of terrifying when you think about it. Surgeons can literally cut into someone's brain while that person is awake and having a conversation, because the brain has zero pain receptors. None. The organ responsible for every headache, every heartbreak, every stub toe you've ever felt cannot feel a single thing itself. And while we're talking about what your brain can't do, it can't multitask. I know, you think you're multitasking right now. You're not. What your brain is actually doing is switching between tasks so fast it feels simultaneous. But every time it switches, it loses a little processing power, a little focus, a little accuracy. Every time. So that thing where you're studying while watching Netflix and texting someone, you're not doing three things. You're doing three things badly. And here's what happens when you remove all those distractions and just sit there. Boredom is cognitively exhausting. Your brain doesn't go quiet when there's nothing to do. It goes haywire. It starts generating thoughts, simulations, imaginary conversations, worst-case scenarios. Neuroscientists have found that the brain actually works harder when you're bored than when you're focused on a task. So that restless, drained feeling you get after doing nothing for too long, that's not laziness. That's your brain burning fuel with nowhere to put it. Now here's where it gets weird. While you're doing all of that, your brain is also constantly predicting the future. Not in a psychic way, in a neurological way. Your brain is always running simulations of what's about to happen, so it can respond before reality even arrives. The reason you can catch a ball, finish someone's sentence, or flinch before something hits you, that's your brain living about half a second ahead of the present moment. You're not experiencing now. You're experiencing your brain's best guess at now, which means, and this is the part that breaks people, your brain is actively hallucinating reality. Everything you see, hear, feel, and smell is your brain's internal model of the world, not the world itself. The color of this screen, the sound of this voice, your brain is constructing all of it. Sensory data just updates the model. You are never in direct contact with reality. Never. You live inside a simulation your brain built for you. So what happens when that simulation encounters something painful? Your brain treats social rejection like physical pain, not metaphorically, neurologically. The same regions that light up when you break your arm light up when someone leaves you on red, cuts you out of a friend group, or ends a relationship. Rejection isn't just emotional. It is, to your brain, a genuine threat, and it responds accordingly. That's why it lingers. That's why you replay it at 2 a.m. Your brain is treating it like an injury that needs attention. Speaking of replaying things, memories are physically destructive. Every time you remember something, your brain literally destabilizes that memory at the molecular level and then rebuilds it. And every rebuild is slightly different, slightly colored by your current mood, your current beliefs, who you are right now. So the memory you have of your childhood, of that fight, of that moment you keep coming back to, it has been reconstructed hundreds of times. It is not what actually happened. It is the latest version of what happened. And your brain can't tell the difference between a real memory and a vivid, imagined one. Which means if you imagine something with enough detail, enough emotion, enough sensory texture, your brain can file it as a real experience. Therapists use this, athletes use this, and it also means that some of the things you are absolutely certain happened to you, might not have happened exactly the way you think. Here's another thing your brain does that nobody tells you. Forgetting isn't a malfunction. It's a feature. Your brain actively prunes memories. It spends real biological energy erasing information it decides you don't need. Forgetting is not a failure of memory. It is memory working correctly. Your brain is making editorial decisions about your past every single night while you sleep. Which brings us to the night thing. Your brain is more active at night than during the day. While you're unconscious, your brain is consolidating memories, running emotional processing, flushing out metabolic waste, and making connections between things you learned. Sleep isn't rest for your brain. Sleep is when your brain does its most important work. Every time you pull an all-nighter before an exam, you are skipping the part where your brain actually locks in what you studied. And while your brain is running all of this, it's generating about 23 to 25 watts of electricity, enough to power a small light bulb. Your brain is literally an electrical organ producing its own energy. You are, in a very real sense, running on electricity. Now, what about the decisions you think you're making with all that electricity? Your unconscious mind makes decisions before you're aware of them. Neuroscientists can look at brain activity and predict what choice you're about to make up to 10 seconds before you consciously feel like you've decided anything. 10 seconds. The feeling of making a decision, of choosing, might be your conscious brain catching up to something that already happened. Free will gets a lot more complicated after you know that. And here's one that hits different if you're young. The adolescent brain is literally unfinished. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for impulse control, long-term thinking, and understanding consequences, doesn't fully develop until around age 25. So if you're under 25 and you've ever done something impulsive, irrational, or made a decision you deeply regret, you were working with incomplete hardware. That's not an excuse, but it is the truth. And if you're in a relationship that makes you feel constantly stressed, anxious, or emotionally unsafe, your brain is shrinking. Chronic stress causes the hippocampus, the region central to memory and emotional regulation, to physically decrease in size. Bad relationships don't just feel damaging. They are measurably, structurally damaging to your brain. Nobody talks about this last one nearly enough. You have a second brain, in your gut. The enteric nervous system, 100 million neurons lining your digestive tract, operates almost completely independently from your brain. It produces neurotransmitters. It sends signals upward. And scientists now believe it has a significant influence on your mood, your anxiety, and your decisions. That gut feeling you get, that is a neurological event. So here's where we land. Your brain can't feel pain, but can feel rejection like a broken bone. It hallucinates your entire reality. It rewrites your memories every time you access them. It makes your decisions before you do. And it's doing all of this on 25 watts of electricity while simultaneously running a second brain in your stomach. You don't have a brain. You are a brain. Everything else is just the vehicle it built to carry itself around. And the fact that this brain, your brain, can understand itself well enough to be shocked by itself, that might be the most unbelievable fact of all. If your brain just glitched watching this, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. More is coming.